I feel bad when ICE goes into a Home Depot and rounds up people who, are working really hard, working long hours, and they throw them in a cage. I think that's stupid. And frankly, it's just wrong. I really don't care about if somebody has a piece of paper or not at the end of the day. I guess I like all these things, all the quote unquote perks that they get, or things that they maneuver. It's like the church. It's like when people criticize the church. Like a lot of atheists will do this to they say, "Oh, the church doesn't have to pay taxes." And I'm like, okay, so yeah, nobody should have to pay taxes. You can see how there's kind of a hypocrisy in that, but it's whatever, nobody should really have to do that. When something like this happens, when ICE arrests a man who's making almost $300,000 a year, it was essentially a education bureaucrat. I was looking at some photos today. Yeah, I guess he interacted with students and such, but he wasn't by any means a teacher. He did his education and did all that, and I'm sure there was teaching along the way, but as I've said in this podcast many times, I think the education department and any form of education, but especially public education, is just useless. And he perpetuated that. He used taxpayer dollars to pay for the fucking dress like a pimp. I'm sorry. Look, you can dress however you want. It's obvious where that fucking $300,000 were going a year. Holy shit. It was clear as day. He was putting that money into his suits, man. Yeah, so look, I kind of look at it like this. I look at it when the Crips and the Bloods are having a feud. You can be sad about the violence, but at the same time, and I think that's justified. But at the same time, and human. But at the same time, you're kind of like, oh well, you kind of got into the game. You know what I mean? You got into the game of the gang life, and when you're in the game of government and politics, and something like this happens to you, I'm not really gonna feel that bad about it. I'm just not. I'm just gonna say that off the bat. I don't really feel that bad that this guy got arrested and detained by ICE. In terms of all the people that have been through that process, this guy is on the bottom of the list. I feel worse for the gang members. The actual gang. I feel worse for them. Because they were just, it's possible that some of them were literally just affiliated. They were oh, hey, I was on the block with these people. I didn't actually really do anything that criminal. And then I'm getting thrown in with everyone else. Or I just happen to have the tattoo. No, this motherfucker was in the shit. He was the top of the pyramid. He was the Illuminati of the education in Iowa and the Des Moines public school system. This motherfucker was at the top. Okay. This is if fucking Marco Rubio got arrested by ICE. You know what I mean? It's okay, whatever, fine. That guy got arrested? Sure, I don't give a shit. But look, I think I've been seeing so many people today. There's this particular post that people have been kind of circulating around, and it's always leftist. And I know I got a lot of friends who are leftists and probably feel this way about him, but there's something about the left and messaging where it's just it's on point. You can predict where they're going to go and it goes there every time. And look, I think it would be stupid to not acknowledge that I do think race has something to do with this. Not even from the terms of people rallying behind him and really upset about this, but in the initial hiring process in general. Here's something let's just before we get too much further down the rabbit hole, let's just actually read this article. So, and there actually are, as of now, they're holding a live session talking about this. Maybe we'll tune at the end just see what's going on. Probably not a whole lot because, I mean, as this article is, I think either this one or the next one. Yeah, the next one, I guess, is predicting is that he is going to be put on unpaid leave. I mean, he already is on leave, but I think they are going to revoke his pay. But anyways, they have revoked the license of Ian Roberts for now, or maybe that's permanent. I mean, I actually don't know if revoked is permanent or not. It could just be temporary. Because look, I mean, who knows? Like, he could beat this case. It would not surprise me. I mean, a man who's making $300,000, like he could get legal representation. He could beat this thing. It's possible. I don't know. Like, the whole thing with ICE is that there isn't really any due process, and I think that is probably the best case argument for being against any of this stuff. But again, like, he's on some gang shits or whatever. State education officials have revoked this education license of Ian Roberts, the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools. ICE agents arrested Roberts on Friday because he was in the country illegally, didn't have authorization to work, and was subject to a final removal order issued in 2024. Now, to clarify, that was under not that I really care, but it was under the Biden administration. So I think that's kind of, and we'll go into Rob Sand's response on that. I think that's kind of an interesting point that some people have raised. But ICE agents stopped Roberts while he was driving a school-issued vehicle, and the agency said he then fled into a wooded area before being apprehended with help from Iowa State Patrol officers. Officials claim a loaded gun, hunting knife, and a $3,000 cash were also in the vehicle. He's being held in the Woodbury County Jail in Sioux City, about 150 miles from Des Moines. I don't understand really why they did that, but the Des Moines Public School Board voted unanimously Saturday to place Roberts on paid administrative leave. He was first licensed with the state in July of 2023. Now, that shit was fucking wild. I remember I saw that article today, and I was like, so basically I couldn't find the article again, but basically what happened is the school board went in for about a 3-minute meeting and all decided that they were going to put him on paid administrative leave. So, and I think this is something that may be changing today, but like for a short period at least, these teachers felt that this man who had been arrested should still get paid. Now, look, I mean, all the reasoning aside, whatever. I feel like if this had happened to anyone else, like any regular Joe, they'd be like, why? Like, they wouldn't have even given him the paid leave in the first place. But it's like, why the fuck are you doing this? Why are you giving him this paid leave? This makes no fucking sense. Unless, like, you know, they felt some kind of sympathy for him, or, you know, a lot of the maybe we'll actually watch this this clip with Jackie Norris, but she said in that video that, you know, she seemed very sympathetic to his situation, and also claimed that they did not know anything about his status as somebody being here on a work visa, or I think a student visa, actually, not having authorization to work in the U.S. and was licensed, went through all the legitimate things, you know. Now, look, I think like a lot of, you know, the anarchist in me doesn't really care. Like, if this guy was like a superintendent at private school, I would be way more upset about this, because it's like, who gives a shit? But there is something kind of ironic or hypocritical, I guess, when you have a man who is head of one of the parts of government, who, maybe he didn't directly do this, right? Like, he wasn't an ICE officer by any means, but like, who probably, is part of a system who like wants all these certifications. that like wants all these proper, like they promote so, like to the point where they're willing to arrest people for not having proper papers or proper whatever, right? But and then he's guilty of the same thing. I mean, to the point where he ran. I mean, that's fucking crazy. The fact that he ran. I mean, shit, bro. You're making $300K? Bro, take that. Let them put the cuffs on you. Call your lawyer. You have a way better chance. But the motherfucker had a gun. He had a loaded gun. You know, and I'm all for it. You know, I've said like that. You know, I don't care if the teachers are, right? I would rather have like armed teachers versus no armed teachers. But this isn't quite what I had in mind, I guess.